Welcome to We Need Help. I'm Lizzie.
And I'm Izzy, and today we are doing Against All Odds, my story. Not my story, it's Chuck Norris's story. So, written by Chuck Norris, about Chuck Norris, and the audiobook is done by his son, Michael Norris.
And this is a special episode because we are featuring my original ride or die, my sister from the same mister, the person most likely to hide a body for me or most likely to make me hide a body, my baby sister, Katie, a.k.a. Too Legit to Quit, a.k.a. The Hammer, and a.k.a. Chuck Norris.
Hello! Thanks for having me, guys.
Welcome, baby girl.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Like during Lizzie's intro, I was like thinking I wanted to throw up gang signs. It was just like
too legit to quit. Hey,
too legit to quit. Hey. I love her. I love this person. Aww. She's my number one. So welcome, Katie. We're so happy to have you.
I'm so excited.
We got going. The reason that you're on this show is because I talked about how freaking hilarious you are to Izza so much that we came up with a reason to get you on here.
We're like, what self-help book? And then she's like, well, my sister's nickname is Chuck Norris, so let's see if Chuck Norris wrote a self-help book, and he kind of did.
Except it's not a self-help book; it's an autobiography. But we're gonna go with that.
Yeah, I think autobiographies, that can be even better than self-help books.
I mean, everything's a self-help book if you look for it in the right,
Yeah.
Right, and anything coming from Chuck Norris is definitely more helpful than some of the books out there that say they're for self-help.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. Let's talk about Chuck Norris. Katie, did you have any idea how little you had in common with Chuck Norris or how much you had in common with Chuck Norris?
Okay, right? Okay, so let's jump on this. The guy, is not Chuck Norris, it's Carlos Ray. Which, for some reason...
I am in love with the fact that Chuck Norris came from serious white trash, just like you guys. Listen to the level of white trash that was Chuck Norris. He was born in Ryan, Oklahoma, to Wilma and Ray D. Norris.
Ray D. The best people in the life are Rays, I'm telling you, in the world.
Ray D. Norris.
Because, this is why she's saying this, my middle name is Ray. So... That's a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a fact. Yeah. His dad was a World War II Army soldier, a mechanic, a bus driver, and a truck driver, and an alcoholic.
Okay, that took a turn. It was all good, and then alcoholic.
I think because of his alcoholism is why he had to do all those little jobs, is because I think he kept getting fired.
Yeah, he's like,
Wait a second. Alcoholics can't keep jobs?
It's new news.
Whoa.
We're going to have to afterbirth that.
That's a strong, that's just a broad statement.
You know what? That's new. It's new.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Next thing you tell me, you're going to say you can't rely on an alcoholic.
Almost as much as you can't rely on a drug addict.
Oh, yeah. And I'm pretty sure they always tell the truth.
Yeah. Always.
There's a joke. How do you know if an alcoholic's lying? Because his lips are moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's that joke. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Norris has Irish and Cherokee roots.
Another thing we all have in common.
Yeah.
And he's blonde and blue-eyed.
Yeah. And he was named after, his name actually is Carlos Ray Chuck Norris. That's his full name. He was actually named after Carlos.
Not Chuck. Chuck's not his name. In his original name.
No, Carlos. It's Carlos. And he was named after his father's minister.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Katie's named after Playboy Bunny.
Yeah.
Her middle name.
Jill.
Jill.
Yep. Jill DeFreeze.
Yep. And
Whose idea was that?
My mom,
Well,
it was one of her best friends.
Okay. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. And I'm named after, I think, pretty famous French whore.
I'm
Mom
named
was all
after.
about free love. That's when you know
I
you're
was
being
named
raised by a
after like a
hippie.
Polish, like total bitch, total whore bitch, and like from one of the most famous Polish books. And I asked my dad, like, who was I named after? He told me, and then he's like, "But you're not old enough to read the book yet." When I got old enough, I read the book, and the character is like the worst character in the
Horrible.
world. And I was like reading it, and I'm like, so I called my dad. I'm like, "Why did you name me after this horrible character?" And my dad's like, "She was really beautiful."
And Izza, looks are the only thing that matter,
That's it,
Yeah,
right?
obviously.
I mean, well, obviously because you're the beautiful one, and I'm
Oh, I'm
The
the
ugly
pretty
one.
one.
You're the smart one.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm the smart one. You're the pretty
Katie.
one.
Which means
I
you're
know,
ugly and
something.
I'm stupid. We got it.
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks, Dad. Thanks, Dad. So listen, Chuck was the
So,
oldest of three brothers. His younger two brothers are named Wayland
I love
and Aaron.
Aaron.
Yeah,
That was
Aaron.
almost my name, Aaron.
and Wheeland.
Wheeland. I wish that was my name.
Wheeling?
Wayland and Deland.
Waylon Jennings. Like, that's a good, like, Wheeland, and it was almost
I mean-
Waylon.
Yeah. He was 16 when his parents divorced, and he later relocated to Prairie Village, Kansas, and then to Torrance, California, wherever the hell that is, with his mom and his brothers. So the dad got left behind.
It took 7 days for his mom was in labor for 7 days, and he was a blue baby.
Yeah.
Like,
What does that mean? That means lack of
he
oxygen,
wasn't
right?
lack of oxygen. Yeah, so they weren't sure he was going to make it. But 7 days of labor, and
Yeah.
she was only 18.
Whoa.
Jeez.
Yeah, she was only 18, and he was 6 pounds 8 ounces. But yeah, like, could you imagine as an 18-year-old having a baby, like 7 days of labor,
Yeah.
That's
and then the baby almost
Only Chuck Norris would have that much labor.
yeah.
Do you guys have like a favorite Chuck Norris? The Chuck Norris jokes.
Yeah,
guys know-
yes. Yeah, Superman and him decided to get into a fight, and the loser had to wear the underwear on the outside of his pants.
That is funny.
My favorite like Chuck Norris fact is like when Chuck Norris goes swimming, he doesn't get wet. The water gets Norris.
Oh, I can't remember
I
what
never
mine
see that.
is. I can't remember what mine is, but they're all so funny. Now I forgot them all.
They're really funny. I was reading them to Modcheck earlier, and he heard of them, but like not really. Chuck Norris is not like a huge phenomenon in Poland.
What?
Well, I don't know how.
But
Yeah.
Katie, I'm going to tell you how. Poland isn't real. That's why.
And they don't have birds. I don't know what she's talking about.
There's no birds. Because why would birds be in a country that doesn't exist?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I got a bird for you, all right?
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
his
Yeah.
mom was a tough cookie, though. Like, literally, his drinking was, like, dad's drinking was so out of control. And back then, you have to think, like, wives did not have the voice that they have now. And so, she one time had, like, $5 left to her name to feed her kids, and he wanted to go drinking. And the uncle, which I think was, like, the dad's brother's, like, take that money from her. And he went to do it, and she's like, was like 5'2", and she was like, she didn't flinch. She looked him in the eye and was like, "You go ahead and hit me."
She
But you're gonna
roundhouse
have-
kicked him, and
So
that's
she
when
said,
Chuck
"You're
learned
gonna
it.
have to
It's like,
sleep." She said, "You're gonna have to sleep sometime, and when you do, I'm going to get a frying pan and beat you to death."
Oh,
That's his mom.
good for you.
You guys.
So he
Good for you,
didn't take the
Wilma.
money. He didn't take the money, and he never put his he didn't put his hand on her at the time. I think later was bad, but that mom was like, "Nah."
Katie one time hit me with a plate. Like,
I did. this is where bullying has gotten out of control in the world, and there's finally that little one who snaps.
Yeah.
I'm the
Wait,
bully.
I want to hear the plate story.
I was being a nasty big sister, which was like 90% of the time, which is why she's as tough as she is. You're welcome, Katie. And
Thanks.
she got tired of it. I had a friend over, so I was even trying to be cool, which is the worst thing I can do, because that means I'm really nasty. So she just opened my bedroom door and just frisbeed a plate right into my forehead. And I mean, it hurt like a son of a bitch.
In fairness, I just opened her door, flung it, and slammed the door and ran. I didn't know I was hitting her. She kicked my ass.
To which I asked, why would you do it if you didn't think you were going to hit me? Like,
I could see it, like just throwing in a plate and like, now it's God's deal.
That's between you and your maker, bitch.
That's between you.
I think it was the closest thing I could get my hands on.
I'm not responsible for the result.
It was so brutal.
Do you believe in God? Because I do.
Well, then she grabbed a phone book, back when phone books were like this thick, and rolled it up and beat the shit out of me with that phone book.
Which is so degrading.
My brother once got his ass kicked with like a huge roll of wallpaper.
Oh, of course he did.
Like,
that's a weapon of convenience.
It is. He ran away and he was hiding on top. We had like this woodshed and he was hiding on top of it. And the whole neighborhood was looking for him for hours. And my mom was like having a panic attack. She was like convinced he was kidnapped and dead. And like the whole neighborhood got together and they were like searching the fields and we were about to get like police and dogs, involved. And suddenly our neighbor, his name was Dick Martin, big guy, saw my brother on top of the woodshed. He's like, Wojtek! Just like, my brother's name is Wojtek. He grabs him and takes him to my mom. And my mom was, here's the Polish house. Instead of like, oh, honey, and hugging the child, she grabbed the roll of wallpaper that was like, Jesus.
Yeah, because he embarrassed her. Because he embarrassed her.
Yeah. And it didn't even hurt. Because it was so large. She was just like,
it didn't hurt enough.
like.
I know, it's like boing, 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 boing.
But he cried just like, because he was just like, he wanted her to feel better, so he cried.
Yeah, that was so nice of him.
Yeah.
Katie and I have had our share of ass beatings, but I'm going to tell you this right now. I got maybe 5 spankings in your life? In my childhood, yeah. Katie got about 500.
I one time got my ass in one sitting. This guy, horrible guy my mom dated, spanked me as hard as he could 18 times in a row. And he said he didn't realize he beat me so bad until he got across town and still couldn't feel his hand.
A guy your mom was dating beat you?
Yep. And I remember that was the end of the line for me. And I threatened him that night. And he was going through some sort of workers' comp thing. And I said, if you ever lay a hand on her again, I'll testify against you in your workers' comp that you are faking your injury.
Right. And they were together like 6 more years after that.
No. Wow. No, they weren't, Katie. No, it was...
because it was in the little white house.
We were in high school.
But when he beat me that bad time, I was only like 8 or 9. So they were together a long time after.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
I do, because I left the front yard without his permission, and I was in the front yard 2 houses down, and I guess he sent his son to come tell me I wasn't supposed to be down there, and we were all playing like kickball or wiffle ball or something, and instead of telling me, his son joined the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't know I wasn't supposed to be down there, and then I got beat for being disobedient and leaving the yard. But he hit me another time later. That was when you're like...
Oh, okay. I'm like, I don't remember that time, but there were like... Katie always got spanked.
He hit me a lot.
Everybody hit you a lot. Mom hit you a lot more than she hit me. She said, if there was a line, I would walk right up to the edge of it and not push her any further. if there was a line, Katie would jump over it and like do a flip over
Flip you the
line.
bird.
Yeah, and shit on the line. Like,
Yeah, she was like always. It was like, Katie, stop.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
like, because I was smart. I felt like I was smarter than everybody.
yeah.
Because she was told she was.
Yeah. My mom told me you
By
cannot
the same
build me
mom
up.
that beat her ass.
Yeah.
So, okay. I think you do have a lot in common with Chuck Norris.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take
Yeah,
a lick.
let's see
She'll
what
take
else.
a licking and keep on ticking this one.
Yeah. I try.
Before everybody freaks out, this is before they said you can't beat your kids anymore. Like, it was a thing. It was like...
It was a thing. I got beat all the time.
Yeah. I mean, my mom... my mom said, you brought me into this...
My mom spanked me.
Yeah.
That she did not beat me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He beat me.
But my mom said, I brought you into this world. I can take you out. And I literally thought she could kill me and have a child that she loved more. Like...
Yeah, because she told us she would.
Yeah,
I'll just have another one.
Yeah, she was like...
It's easy.
Yeah. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, the end. By the way, the Chuck Norris jokes came from Conan O'Brien doing a bit about Walker, Texas Ranger, and then these like fake facts.
Well, there's
it
books
just became a
out
thing.
there. There's books out there.
Lots of them.
Yeah. We have them. We have 2 of them. They're good.
Yeah, they're funny. And, he is a martial artist, an actor, a film producer, a screenwriter, a writer.
He blogs.
Black belt in Tang Soo Do and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Judo. He was in the Air Force.
Yeah. And he and his wife actually own this run this amazing foundation to help troubled teens, like junior high and high school kids, get their crap straight.
Wow.
Yeah. He and his second wife. So let's talk about the craziness of this book. You guys did the Audible, right? Or the audio book, whatever.
It. We kind of were lackluster in it. Like,
Okay.
The reason we decided to have guests is because we got sick of reading. So we're like, let's have guests that read the book.
You're listening to the book?
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
We're too lazy to even listen. We're like,
Okay, so rundown, rough childhood, went to the military, had his brother die. Before running to the military, he ended up with like a great, amazing stepdad. And that's where he got stability. It was in high school. He fell in love, married this girl. He went to the military, came back. They had a couple babies. He studied martial arts in the military. He was a little scrawny kid with like no confidence. He wouldn't talk to people. It really struggled. But he got his confidence through doing martial arts. It built up through years. It took a long time.
okay, here's a question. Does martial arts annoy anybody else? Or is it just me? I'm annoyed by it.
There are things that are good, I guess. I don't know. I think that, I don't know. I think that whatever,
yes.
if it keeps somebody focused, and as long as they're like building themselves up, and the guy's like not young and he's ripped, so I'm like, I guess that works something great.
Katie's husband Walker is going to be like in jiu-jitsu next week. Signed up.
Yeah. So I'm married to a man named Walker. Let's go there.
Yeah.
oh, gosh. Texas
Like Walker,
Ranger.
Texas. Yeah.
Yeah.
And his mom's like,
There's
and
so
if you-
many points of light here that are connecting.
Yeah. So how I became Chuck Norris, I'm married to Walker, but his mom will be like, Texas Ranger, that show wasn't out yet. It's after the whiskey. Okay.
Okay, is that better, Ma?
Yeah.
So, wait, I want to know though, how did Katie become Chuck Norris? This is important.
This is the best story because Katie handles some business. She can get anything and everything done. Like, we joke that we could put on a full wedding in 4 hours. Like she and I make the best team, but it's like she is fierce. So she was up at our Chicago house to help me paint. And she had her daughters with her, and one of them, Molly, she was about 8 or 9 then, and she got the stomach flu, and she was vomiting. And between her vomits, Katie would go hold her hair, and then she'd quit vomiting, and Katie would leave right then and there and go roll the wall. And then Molly'd start vomiting again. She'd run away and handle that, and then she'd come right back right where she was at and roll the wall. And it was like Jason and I named her Chuck Norris, and it's been that way ever since because it stuck so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for some reason they're like, Molly's puking, so the bedroom's done, so we can all go to bed. I'm like, we still have your kitchen to do.
Yeah.
I'm like, why would you clean up when you have all your stuff out? Let's just get that kitchen done.
Yeah. So and it's everything we did handle like that. She just helped me stencil my pole barn floor. And I mean,
I heard about that.
It's insane. Like she and I just well, she does, but she just handles business all the time.
Yeah.
And then we get stuff done because like she knows what I'm thinking before I'm thinking it. Like we've been together. I've been together with her for 43 years. So it's like, and people thought we were twins because we're 18 months apart. And it's like, I mean, a lot of times, like, she knows before I do, like, what's happening with me. And same with her. Like, I can see the storm before there's ever a cloud. Like, it's going to come.
Yeah.
Well, they have, like, memes about people who, like, can't hide their face. Like me, I'll be like, no.
Okay, you guys.
I just look at them like, what's wrong?
I've never bought a car. Katie takes my car. She goes in, she test drives the new one, and then handles all the negotiation, and I come in and write the check.
She Chuck Norris's the car. She's just
I do it for everybody. I buy cars all the time for people.
Okay, Katie, will you please tell the story about the time you did it for Mom?
I want to hear this story.
So this was when, like, Trump was first in office, and they're, like, warning us that the price of metal is going to go up. So my stepdad's like, Katie, I think we're going to trade in your mom's car, and before the car prices go up, I just have been doing some research. He got all serious, and he's like, but we don't need, like, expensive things like fancy rims, and we don't need this, and
I've been watching MSNBC 24/7, and get out there and buy me a car.
Yeah, here's what I want. And he's like, your mom hates her car because it was, like, maroon, and she's always done fun colors, and she's like, the other day I walked up to the wrong car, and so now I want a new car that's bright. I'm like, okay.
Gotta love her.
Like, I don't know.
Gotta love her.
So I leave their house, and like 15 minutes later, I send a picture of a car, and I'm like, okay, this is everything you want. It's brand new, but it was technically last year's model. It's got steel rims, none of the bells that you don't want, but the whistles that you do, blah, blah, blah. They're like, okay, that's awesome. I'm like, well, just drive by it. Oh, no, that's perfect. I'm like, just go look at it, you guys. Here's where it's at. So my mom is like, oh my God, it's wonderful. It's so great. So the next day, my stepdad's like, okay, how much money do you need? I'm like, well, this is all you're spending on it. This is your budget. This is it, right? So she and I go in for the negotiations. And some guy, it's always some old guy is like, hey, can we talk to you? I'm like, yeah, okay, here's. I don't know why. If there's like somebody that is 65 to 70 that works at the dealership, that's who usually they send out to talk to me. I think they think that, like, I'm going to relate to this older person.
Or that you're, like, an easy sell. So they'll just, like, send Bob, who's, like,
It's always a Bob, a Kevin.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so they send this guy out. And I'm like, we'll just go on in and sit down. This is the car we want. This is what trade-in we're getting on her car. And this is how much we're going to walk out the door with. So he goes, he's like, all right, let me look at the numbers. And he goes and he comes back, he has to talk to his financial manager. He comes back and he's like, so this is what we're thinking. And I go, well, wait, you know what my favorite thing would be?
Okay.
Wait, it gets better.
Okay.
I go, as if it's closer to this number. Then my mom goes, "Oh my God, no. I just love it. It's just so perfect. It's just so beautiful. I don't even know what to, it's just, I love it so much. It's just so beautiful. Isn't it so beautiful?" She's asking him. She's asking me. I look over, I go, "You need to shut the fuck up." And then I look at him and I go, "And no matter how beautiful it is or how much she loves it, it doesn't change how much money she has. So you need to go talk to your manager and come back with this other number."
I just picture her telling our mom to shut the fuck up in front of this poor old guy.
Because, like, it was a few little hints of it, though. I was like,
okay, that's cool.
like,
Got it.
Yeah, it's cute. The blue's really pretty. Okay, so we need to talk about this. It's alloy rims. Let's be real. It's last year's bottle. It might be new, but nobody's coming here in 2019 for 2018. Like, you know.
So Katie buys all the cars because she's so shrewd and cheap. And she's frugal as fuck. And here's another thing. She cares about everybody's money, not just her own.
Okay, so what we have to do for the afterbirth is see if Chuck Norris is also good with money.
Okay. Yeah, let's see what his net worth.
Yeah.
Well, it's come up where a couple times he's really gotten super financially successful and realized it strained his first marriage really bad. And they ended up losing everything, but they refused to file bankruptcy.
Okay.
And paid it all off themselves. And that happened to me as well. My husband and I, we had somebody embezzle money from our old company. And my husband and I were like, we don't believe in filing bankruptcy. And we worked like 20-hour days for 9 months. I say we. He did. I was raising babies and helping him run the company.
Well,
I paid 100% of it off ourselves and did not
file for
bankruptcy.
Another similarity with
another similarity.
I mean, it just like
when I read it, I was like,
okay. So let's do a banter break.
Let's do
and then
it.
let's talk about the book. Let's get into the book.
Okay.
Yay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you all for listening to the We Need Help podcast. We actually need your help. You can become a member of the We Need Help movement. Can you tell us how?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's this really cool service called Patreon where you can support artists, people doing different projects, people like us. You basically go to the www.patreon, that's patreon.com/We Need Help podcast. And you can subscribe a monthly donation every month. Stipend, yeah, for just $1 a day. You would be helping us out greatly. And if you become a Patreon, you get access to exclusive content. You get a say in what we do because every month we're going to be picking somebody and they get to pick a book that we're going to review. So you actually have a bit of a say in the art that we produce, which is really cool.
And you get to go to heaven.
Yes. That's the number one thing. You get to go to heaven. So
if you don't do it, you're going to hell. But if you do it, you get eternal life.
How awesome is that? For just $1 a day, eternal life.
I mean, eternal life for $1 a day.
So again, we would really appreciate your support. It costs money to do this, by the way.
It costs money.
It does. Yeah, we were shocked. We're like, what?
But I do want to say thank you guys for listening, and we would appreciate any support you could give us.
Yeah, we just want to get better and we want to grow and we want you to grow with us. So that's awesome.
We have big plans.
We got some big plans. So please become a part. Log on to www.patreon.com/We Need Help podcast, written together. And Patreon is spelled patreon.com/We Need Help podcast. And then you just click on become a Patreon. You can do PayPal, you can do credit card, you can put it on whatever. We don't care how. Just do it. Just do it.
Thank you.
Thank you. We love you so much.
We love you. Welcome back from the banter break. Banter break.
I feel like I should add in banter break.
Banter break.
Yeah, that was nice.
So let's, Katie, how is this book set up? It's just his life story?
Yeah, it's like an autobiography. And it's kind of starts towards the end. Like, I would say it starts like 80% through it, and then it backs up to the beginning. So it starts where his second wife, like he's literally at the presidential dinner or something, and his second wife calls with an emergency when she's pregnant with their twins, and they're worried that she's going to lose them, and he can't get to her. His private pilot had to call him and say the co-pilot had one beer earlier because they weren't supposed to leave the next day, and they wouldn't fly. Now, and he's like, I love the integrity because nobody would have known if he had one beer.
Right.
But he goes, I respected his integrity so much, but I couldn't get to my wife. And like, so, and everything was fine. And they have these twins that are wonderful. And
yeah, Katie, that just spoiler alert. She spoiled it.
Spoiler alert. His kids didn't die.
Yeah. Because that would have been a pretty depressing beginning to the book, but also probably, that might be a reason to read on. Like, how do
they literally get
to the best of us?
Yeah. So there's a few things about this book. You guys did Audible, or Audible, right?
Audible.
That's what you do?
Yep.
Okay. You the first time you told me that you were reading books, I'm like, wow, you're flying through those. Yes. She's like, yeah, I had to be in the car a lot. And I'm like, how are you reading while driving? She's like, I listen to them. I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't know that was a thing.
These new things called books on tape.
I know, but I cannot listen to something and absorb it very well. Like I literally have to see it. So, and I want to see it on paper. Like the digital doesn't even work well. Yeah. So, I one time
Katie read this book cover to cover in one day.
Yeah, I read it for a couple hours one night and then a couple hours the next night. And that was it.
Well, I had dyslexia, so like I had like my eyes where I was legally blind, so I really couldn't read really well for a long time.
Yeah.
So like
they told her she was blind. They're like, you're gonna be blind by the time you're 12, and like
18. It was 18. Yeah. I know, and. Yeah, but I like, and still to this day, when I read, sometimes I have to read over the same page like 3 times to get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I'm a more audible. Like, but.
Yeah. And I love to read. I can I'll like buzz through a book. I'm like, and I just love it. But I think that I used to use that to like go into my own world. I love
did that
it.
too. Yeah. That was my escape before alcohol. I seriously had books.
Is that a warning sign? Do I need to be careful?
I had books, like, you know how alcoholics hide bottles in weird places? I had books hidden. Like, in the bathroom between the towels, I had a book. And then, like, I had books hidden all over the house. And then under my mattress. And then, I was supposed to be asleep. And I would get the, flashlight. And I would be reading under the covers. Yeah. Like,
I love to read, and I used to do that. I used to hide and read, and Lizzie just loved it because I insisted on sleeping in her bed under her blanket because I was always freezing. I'd be like down like.
Katie and I slept together for 15 years.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Well, we didn't always have
a lot of we didn't have our own bedroom.
Yeah.
No, there would be like 4 of us. Yeah. There'd be 4 of us sharing a bedroom, I think, and. Lizzie kept me safe.
I don't remember 4. I remember 3. But I remember, like, when we were kids, like, my mom didn't have a lot of money, and my mom was a single mom. So it was, like, usually it was she and Katie and I. Like, that's who it was. And then occasionally my brother would be there.
Yeah.
But it was always the 2 of us. And we always, like, we were together. It was just she and I. Like, it was really, we're so codependent. In a...
Yeah.
Bad way, in a bad way, in a good way. Well, like, I mean, now that we know about codependence, like, we know that, like, we affect each other greatly. So if I'm in a bad mood, I can take her down quick, and vice versa. So we're mindful of that now. And like, I try my best because I was the older one. So, and I'm the very typical older sister. Like, I try to handle all her problems for her.
Yeah.
And that she doesn't need that, like, because she's Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris.
There'll be like something in a store, and I'll be like, no, I'm not. I can't do that right now. She's like, do you need me to get it for you? And I'm like, no, I just I'm not doing that today.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Did Chuck Norris? Yeah, Chuck Norris had siblings, Wieland and Aaron. Yeah.
Yeah, and Whelan died, I believe,
Oh.
in the war.
Okay.
Yeah, he died in like Korea, I think, and it really affected his whole life. So,
Okay.
and then his other brother and he are best friends, and they like his brother ended up becoming like a director and a producer. They worked together, I think, on Walker Texas Ranger. Like they're super, 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 super.
How did
close.
Chuck Norris get to be so famous? Because, okay, like, he seems like a really nice guy, but like he's not super model attractive, right? He's
No,
kind of average. He came
No,
from poverty.
I find him unattractive.
Yeah.
Right. He got famous. So he was in the military. He ended up studying different versions of martial arts. He ended up he wanted to always be a police officer. That was his goal. And he ended up putting it on hold and ended up teaching. He couldn't get a job originally, so ended up teaching karate. Or not karate, but this, I cannot pronounce it for the life of me, this special
Jiu-jitsu?
martial arts with all the flipping. No, it was I gotta find it. I'll find it.
Yeah.
He studied
Okay,
it.
have you ever seen a Chuck Norris movie?
Yeah, absolutely. But there,
I've never seen Walker Texas Ranger ever.
I haven't.
well, no, because you had to have cable to see it, and we didn't have cable when we were younger. I've seen all
Was
of
it
the
on
Rockford
when we
Files.
were younger?
I'm trying
Was
to.
he on Rockford Files?
I could see. No, he was not on.
I love the Rockford Files. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to see where
He
he drones on and on about his martial arts. So he ended up becoming this teacher, and then he ends up competing for like championships because he thought he was running out of money. And so he's like, if I win one of these, that would be free advertising for my martial arts school. And that's why he started competing, and he didn't do well. And he's like, well, I did the best I could at the time with the knowledge I had and with the abilities I had. So my goal is to just learn more and do more. And he's lived his whole life on that. As long as I'm doing the best I can
I love that.
with the information I have at that time.
I love that.
I love that. It just is like so amazing because it was never the excuse of anybody else.
Yeah.
I did the best I could for what I knew at that time. And so if I want to do better, I need to train more, or I need to learn more, or I need to study more. I need to just become more. It was, and he never blames
we can
anybody.
all take that. I think we can all take that. Like, you know,
Yeah.
how many times have you looked back and thought, I was so stupid, but I really was trying like hard,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Here it is.
Yeah.
I mean,
He started competing in 64.
Wow.
In 1964 is when he started competing.
He founded
Yeah.
his own discipline called Chun Kook Do. That's a discipline that and we're gonna have to afterbirth that because I don't know what that. But
Yeah, because I it wasn't in this book, but that was
Chun Kook Do. That's cool.
I know wasn't he on Nordic Tracks commercials?
okay. He is still to this
Or
day.
Bowflex?
He does the what's it called? The Ultimate Gym or whatever.
Oh, Katie.
Sorry,
Uh-oh.
did I lose
Are
you
you
for a
there?
second?
Yeah, I think we all lost each other. To this day, he's what?
He's still I think it's called the Ultimate Gym or whatever, isn't it?
Okay.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
He still does it, and it's because he ended up with an injury. And these people reached out to him, and it's like, because they wanted to do surgery, and he's like, he prayed on it. He's like, I don't feel like that's what I'm supposed to do. So these people reached out to him, and they're like, will you try our machine? Because they were having a hard time selling it.
Oh.
And it was one that they were marketing to rehab facilities. And he got farther along in his rehab in the first week or month than he had for 6 months elsewhere. So he had such great confidence in it. And then it kept doing it. And he finally was like, he, really did, speak out about how great this machine was. And they asked him if he would be like a spokesperson for it. And he's like, absolutely. You guys helped me. You saved me from
wasn't
surgery.
his wife on there
And then
too?
No, it was was it? Oh,
Some other
I gotta
actress?
find it.
We can
It was-
afterbirth it. We can
Yeah, it was
afterbirth it, so don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we always afterbirth the things we can't find. So
Yeah.
just like why are episodes Afterbirth?
This is that. This is Chuck Norris, though. She has to know it now. Like she can't wait. Like there's no way she can wait.
Afterbirth, I might die tomorrow. Like I'm not going to wait till the afterbirth.
Yeah. That's so funny. So, but he would like the whole book. As I was listening to it, he was so detail oriented about stuff that I like. I don't like a lot of details.
Right.
Yeah, he got a little way too detailed. You like that? A little way too detailed about how some of his fights.
Yeah.
It was something.
Have you seen Walker, Texas Ranger? She had cable when she was little.
Okay, so we were a Clint Eastwood and Charles Bronson family. We were not a Chuck Norris family.
Okay.
Because I think my father is the Polish Chuck Norris, so I think he felt threatened by the American Chuck Norris.
Oh, obviously he's the Polish Chuck. I mean,
Jacek Kapczynski is known in Poland.
Yes, he will. He does a square house kick. It's totally different.
He'll knock you off your Eastern Bloc.
He pulled a gun out.
He'll knock you off. With the
It's Tang Soo Do, by the way.
Oh,
okay.
Some fancy thing.
It's not a Tang. Every little Tang ain't gonna be all right.
So I think he got famous because wasn't he friends with like Bruce Lee, and then Bruce Lee started like promoting him a little bit.
Yeah. So he wanted to like get money for his karate school, which he is still like best friends and partners with the person who like he started that with. But he did meet Bruce Lee, and they became friends. And then Bruce Lee was like, "I need somebody to fight.
I need a white guy
in one of my movies.
Kick
the shit out of."
Yeah,
and that's actually what happened. So he had to lose, but they became friends, and he really, really respected him. And he was talking about like he ran into Bruce Lee, and he's like, "I'm only in town for a day. Do you want to meet for lunch or for dinner?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he's like, he's like, "What are you here for?" And Bruce Lee's like, "Something's wrong with me. I keep passing out, and I went to the doctors there. They can't find anything, so I flew to America, and I got tested, and they said everything was fine." And he died like later that week.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So Chuck Norris couldn't
all the
save
doctors
him?
Yeah, right. He's just like, it was weird that when that happened, it really clicked home for him. Like, I've got to stop taking things.
Yeah.
For granted.
You mentioned something that like he prayed a lot. Like
he prayed a lot.
Yeah.
Super. His mom was this like really strong Christian woman, but he said he never heard her really talk about or push the Bible or push Christianity on anybody. She just was this kind, loving, and accepting woman. So, like, I'm like, that is just amazing that he takes his Christianity. He doesn't ever feel like it should be this pushed on thing. It's more just how his mom was this kind, loving woman, and he just hopes to be kind, loving, and accepting.
Okay, so maybe did anybody else feel that he had a really like too strong of a relationship with his mother? Have you ever met like some of these people that their mother can do no fucking wrong?
Yeah, I mean, most men.
That
right?
was him.
Do you think?
Yeah. I
know his mom had to jump he had to call his mom when he was, I think he might have already been married to his second wife when he had a random person reach out to him and was like, "I'm your child."
Ooh.
Yes.
Wait, was he a playa? Was he like a playa?
So what happened when he first got back from in the military and he first flew back before, like they brought them back to like somewhere else, like at San Francisco or something before he moved down to be with his wife, who was setting up their first apartment when he was a newlywed, and he took leave.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, he took leave. He and his brother went out or something with these two girls, and he said he cheated on his wife once.
You couldn't even abort Chuck Norris's baby. It would probably it would fight.
Yeah, it would be impossible.
Yeah, and he's just like talks about He talked about like
It's like DNC, not
how
boom.
accepting his family was. Yeah.
It would just like the vacuum would be blocked.
Those duckbill things would go in and come out like broken.
The vacuum would
With
just
like
be plugged.
a little mini baby footprint in the side, like nah. No bobos for you today. No bobos for you.
Roundhouse kicking.
Yeah,
Oh
is that crazy? And the mom never told her who her dad was, and she didn't know about it until like she was a very large, was an adult.
Your dad's Chuck Norris. She's like, yeah, right.
That's like, how did she find it out? With a 23andMe, or was it like, did she like all of a sudden like spin,
No, her mom
spun
told
around?
her.
She like spun around and like randomly kicked somebody in the face, and she was like, wait, something's weird here.
Or
Yeah.
she just looks like a female Chuck Norris, like with long hair.
And
She's like, it's
Could you imagine,
uncanny.
People keep saying, you know who you look like? Chuck Norris. I get that all the time. I do.
Yeah.
Have you started Walker, Texas Ranger?
Like people, she sits down and people keep saying like, "Can I have your autograph?" Why?
I didn't know that Walker, Texas Ranger was a lady. Wow.
Yeah. Wow. How transgender of you.
Yeah. He literally, this girl
Are you
wrote
going to
her a
change
letter.
your pronoun to they?
Well, Chuck Norris's pronoun is they. Oh, once again, the transgender community is loving us.
Yeah, the one listener we have.
Oh God.
So, Katie, what did you enjoy about this book? Like, what are you taking out of it? What lessons? Yeah.
I did absolutely love that he was like, he repeatedly, when he falls on his face, he's like, I fell on my face.
Yeah.
Like, I jacked up, like he puts here, like, I sinned. Immediately somebody reached out to me and he goes, I knew exactly who it was and when it was. That was the one time I've ever was unfaithful. Like, and he was
That's
like,
what you always say.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, though.
Meanwhile,
He was a pansy ass and called his mom and said, Mom, this girl lives up by you. Will you meet her first and make sure she's legitimate? Because, well, maybe because of his stardom, but he's still in his mom, and his mom called him as like, get your ass here now.
She's got a mustache.
She looks exactly.
He said,
like
no
you.
paternity test is
She
necessary.
roundhouse kicked me. Hello.
Yeah, exactly. Grandma was like, listen here, this is my grandbaby. So his mom was like, listen here.
She
like,
has red hair and blue eyes,
and her name is Ray.
Chuckina. Chuckina.
Yeah, so like they were close, and it just like, he's like, I have grandchildren now. It was everything.
Wow. What is
Chuckina, what are you doing?
Situation? Or was it already, he was already divorced when this happened?
I don't know. I was trying to think of when this was, but
We can afterbirth that.
We're going to afterbirth it.
I think it was after his first wife, before his second, maybe,
Okay.
or right around the time he met.
Oh, that would have been
Good timing. Good timing.
good timing. The one time he ever cheated on that wife. Okay,
Yeah.
I got a bridge to sell you, Chucky.
Yeah.
I really do. The one time my sperm, it flew out of my penis and roundhouse kicked this lady's uterus.
Right. Well, the weird thing is, so like the girl had actually met somebody else and got married right afterwards,
and faked the baby on him.
no, the guy just adopted, like they just decided, and so like
What's wrong
she
with
didn't
these
find
guys?
out about it till after.
She faked the baby. That's what I
know
like to call
so
it.
many of these guys.
Oh,
That,
so here's the thing. So her mom had eventually, like, I think the dad might have died or something,
Yeah.
like the stepdad. Or no, she said she one time heard her mom talking to her friend about Chuck Norris.
can you believe? Yeah.
That's who I did. Anyway,
Yeah.
so she
Oh,
found out her
Sally,
wife-
you know, the one time I fucked Chuck Norris, and then she was like,
So she
Wait, that's
asked
my
her mom,
dad.
and her mom fessed up. But the thing is like, they talked and decided not to disrupt his life. So later, like 10 years after
That's
that,
nice.
she read in the paper that he had gone through a divorce. And so then reached out after his divorce because they, as the mom and daughter, did not want to destroy his marriage.
That's so nice.
And I'm like,
That's you don't find people like that anymore.
yeah.
No.
I'm like,
Yeah, that's really good. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm inspired by that story. I'm
I am
inspired
too.
by I want the biography of the
right.
baby mama.
Of the daughter and her mom.
Right.
So,
yeah.
okay, so what else? Like, what else inspired you besides the fact that he failed and then he got up? Like,
So then when he did get divorced, like they stayed friends. They just realized after over 30 years of marriage, they just weren't supposed to be together anymore. And they still are kind and friends and enjoy each other. And then, like, talk.
Katie, if you and Walker got divorced, what would you do? What if he asked you for a divorce? Katie would kill him.
I would kill him.
Katie would murder
would
him.
not give him a divorce.
She would not.
Divorce.
He wouldn't make it to the
divorce
door.
Chuck Norris.
He wouldn't make it to the
He's
front
Katie,
door.
I want a divorce. No, you don't. No, you don't. Get
No.
back. Get back in your
She would
room.
like, hiya.
Yeah, it would not
She would
happen.
roundhouse kick the divorce papers.
He one time told
So-
me that divorcing me would be like trading in a brand new car the minute you drove it off a lot.
Where did you and Walker meet? I want the story.
Okay, so
Lizzie.
Lizzie knows this through
yeah,
you.
he
Wait,
was one of my dearest friends. Yeah,
what?
They worked together.
he was one of my friends. We worked together. We partied together. I mean, it was crazy. And then they met.
My mom
And
said, I met this
honestly,
guy.
like, we
You're gonna
joked.
call him. Yeah.
Was it like fireworks or tell
Yeah,
me?
he's the
story. I want
perfect
the
guy for
story.
you.
That's okay. I get the
Yeah.
story, but I want the story. Katie, what did
My
you
mom-
feel when you met this guy? And like,
Oh, well, first of all, my friends and I used to park by his work so we could cut through and check him out. But my mom's like, I met the guy you're going to spend the rest of your life with. And I said, who? And she said, his name's Walker. He works with your sister. I'm like, oh, no, I'm never dating him. I've heard he's a total whore. I'm like, but he's fine. My friends and I go and check him out. I mean, he used to wear like these Henleys and he was a mechanic. And, yeah, we
Totally
used to-
her type.
totally my time. I'm like, a little smell of bearing grease just does it every time. But
little behind the ears, like
Yeah.
take those tight Henleys. But he drove a Harley. Oh,
Yeah.
so good. But yeah.
But they've been together for like 25 years.
Yeah.
And, of course, like, I've been brother and sister with him almost as long as I was brother and sister with my own brother before he passed. You know what I mean? Like, so he is legitimate like a brother to me,
yeah,
and I mean, he's seen it all,
yeah.
Good, bad, indifferent. But I mean, he's one of my best friends.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
He really, I mean,
he's
over
like
the
really
years,
an amazing
yeah.
man. Yeah, I'm married to an amazing man. I'm lucky.
Oh, good. Just like
Patient
Chuck
man.
Norris is his. I'm trying to transition this. So he's married to.
But if Walker cheated on Katie,
Oh, he said I used to rearrange the house while he was asleep. So he'd wake up in the middle of the night and like I'd even move the bed he was in. And he's like, okay, if you can move the bed in while I'm sleeping, he goes, why would anybody try to cheat on you?
yeah,
yeah,
that would be done.
she has dreams and beats the shit out of that he's cheated on her, and she'll beat the shit out of him.
That's hilarious. She'll
It's
wake
been a
up.
lot of years. Yeah.
Yeah. So what else about this book? Anything else? Like, would you recommend it?
No.
Well, it's out of print. We'll just go there. Like,
Oh.
it's not. I think it hasn't been in print a long time. There are things that are good. I would tell people though, you can really like, unless you're super into the military or to the like
Fighting.
the fighting, like those you can skim those.
Yeah.
Like still like read the chapter, but kind of skim it. Some of the things that were super great about it were the life lessons that he came across and how he handled them, because
Yeah.
that's huge. Like, and it was okay that he decided to remarry. And he remarried, and they lived together a long time before they got married. And he's like, what are we doing? Like, we know better than this crap. But her kids did not accept it. Her one child would not accept it and refused to move in with them. Like, lived with her sister for a while. And then they had babies, and
But he said we're doing something wrong because they're living in sin. Is that what it is?
Yeah, he's like, no wonder your kids are not comfortable with this. Like, we're doing it wrong. We're not being good examples. Like, to our kids, we're not doing the right thing. It was just kind of crazy. So, and his mom like called him out on stuff, and his brother was like, you know, you're screwing this up. Like, but then there are things like it talks about the importance and what little things can be done in our community.
Yeah.
Like he was like, I had zero confidence, and how many kids that have no confidence? There's either the people that are bullies or the ones that are bullied. And so by teaching martial arts in the school in place of PE.
Oh, I love that idea, actually.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, they're doing it all over the state of Texas, or at least they were here, where he went and he met, actually, I think President Bush, the first President Bush, I think, is who helped him get it through. Because he was like, this is important to me, and I don't know how to do it. And he goes, well, what's your idea? And he spelled it out, goes, well, let's make this happen.
Right.
Yeah. So he goes, I'll pay
So we
for
should
it.
all teach.
Yeah.
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 And
All right.
they threw his one like employee in like this really rough school in Texas when it first started. And he called like on day like 3. He's like, I can't do this. He's like, stick it out for a month. Do it for a month. Like, so he went and met with him, and when he walked by, everybody was lined up. Everybody was perfect. There was no attitudes. But I guess at first people were cussing, screaming, throwing stuff, like being horrible.
Right.
And he said, how did you fix it? And he goes, well, the biggest, toughest kid basically challenged him. And he goes, like, the teacher was like in front of everybody, he goes, that's not why we do this. Basically, it's not a pissing match. I mean, he said it in different words.
Yeah.
But
So what are you taking from this?
after class,
What are you taking from this
after
book?
class, he kicked the kid's ass, kind of, but not in front of people.
Wow.
He's like,
wow.
now we'll fight. Now we'll fight. But it's not to do it because of what other people think. It's between you and I. And after that, that kid brought everybody, and everybody followed suit. Kind of like that, you dropped the biggest kid. So,
yeah.
just that
Prison yard.
Yeah, he prison yarded it. So I think like he really sees the importance of giving structure and stability and something to look forward to and confidence. And I think that is something in our youth we are missing. You know, setting down their electronics for this long so that they can work on themselves and on meditation and patience and control, because a lot of martial arts isn't about hurting somebody. It's about controlling a kick. Like, they're kicking to touch, not to hurt.
Yeah.
So it's about teaching them the control and the patience and the thinking each step through. And I think our youth really does see that. So I think that was a really big thing to take from this.
Is that what you're taking away from? Like, what are you personally
I'm personally taking that I like my Chuck Norris better than the real Chuck Norris. Period. Yeah. I just like, he was great, but I don't like love the whole organized religion thing. I don't like love the whole like living in sin thing. I don't love the whole like, martial arts is great. I think there's a place in it, especially in like with our youth and building confidence, but like, I don't want to talk about it. What are you taking is?
She's like, she didn't read it. We know she didn't read it.
No, I mean, what do I take away from every self-help book? Like, fall down 7 times, get up 8. What did inspire me about this was that, because a lot of these self-help books we read, and the people claim to come from like nothing, and then you find out it's a lie.
They're like,
The Rock, who I love, The Rock. His dad was a wrestler. Like, he's kind of in that world.
Oh, we're calling that the Vanilla Ice.
Yeah.
The Vanilla Ice. He was like...
Yeah. This Chuck Norris came from nothing, and what I'm taking away from it is you can win and make it big on personality and perseverance alone. And that's what I'm taking from
Yes,
And it was
that's
hard
so
work.
good.
Yeah, he really did work hard. Like it
Yeah.
talks about the hours he put in constantly, and he's like, "You cannot expect people to give
Yeah.
you stuff," and I love that.
That's what I'm taking from this.
Yeah,
The
I
hard
like that
work,
too.
tenacity.
It goes to
'cause
show.
he's not attractive. Like, and that's hopeful for me.
Well, and I'm taking away that read the book, don't do the audible, because like it's his son that's reading it, and they're talking about like pulling sperm out of his testicles, and like his stepmom, or you know,
You're not selling anybody on this book.
Chuck Norris's wife has to have her cervix sewn shut, and they're having like the audibles read by his son. Like nobody should be talking about their stepmom's cervix.
Oh,
Unless
really?
you're a gynecologist.
Is that not a thing? Oh,
I
shit.
don't think.
Sorry, Mom.
Could you imagine being like,
Sorry, stepmom.
my dad's balls. Like,
I only
Lizzie
talk about
talks about her
dad's balls, Katie. Constantly. Duh.
yeah. You crack
All
me up.
right.
No, I think
All right.
there's good things. There's good
There's
things.
good
All right.
stuff here.
There's good stuff here. It's not in this book, but there's good things out there.
No,
Okay,
I mean,
well-
it does talk about he had a lot of like friends pass away, and like his brother passed away. He lost friends, and like what he
Yeah, he had adversity. Yeah,
he
you got to
learned
have
from
it. Yeah, that's awesome.
He took
Okay,
away from
so-
it. Like, that's good.
What book we don't know what book we're doing, so you're gonna have to wait, and we'll show you on. Or do you know Izzy?
We have two options. So,
Okay, let's pick.
because Maciek really wants to be on our show now.
Yes.
I think
Because he
it'd be
looks
funny.
because he wants to be cool like Chuck Norris.
There's a
Yeah.
book called Reasons to Live by
Oh,
and it's the only self-help book that Maciek has ever read. Reasons to
I'm
Stay
in.
Alive. Reasons to Stay Alive by Matt Haig is one of the
Okay.
books. And then the other one my
Okay.
brother wants to be on our show as well. And there's a book called by
Okay.
Diane Keaton, Brother and Sister. I think that's what it's called.
I'm voting Maciek first.
Yeah.
And then brother.
Okay. So,
Just because I think I could use the reasons to stay alive right now. I'm just
we're
kidding.
gonna do Reasons to Stay Alive, and it's a short one too. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Katie, I love you. You're one of my
Oh.
favorite human beings on earth. And I thank you so much. She's my number one fan, and no matter what I do. And God
Even
fucking
this
forbid
podcast.
somebody, God fucking forbid somebody puts me down.
So,
Yeah.
what you don't know is that randomly I will text my sister. Like the other day, I texted her the difference, like two definitions, and it was where you guys. I was listening to your podcast. And you're like, "What's the difference between this and this?" And I just randomly, like, a week or two later, I'm texting her like,
You are our fact checker.
"It's constant." I
She
can't help
is my
myself.
fact check.
She was like, "Seriously,
Yeah.
what was that for?" Like, you know what she was thinking? Like, we've already published that now. Now
Yeah.
you're telling us.
Yeah, I love her. I love her. But Katie, thank you for being my biggest fan, and thank you for taking your time to read the book
Yes.
and be on this show. And we love you. Thank you, Chuck Norris,
you.
and we will see you all next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.
Love you.
See
Bye.
you next Tuesday.
Thank you so much for spending your time with us. Rate and follow us if you like us. If you don't, please don't.
And come visit us at www.theweneedhelppodcast.com. There you can find show notes, links for books. You can join Audible, which is, how we actually read our books. We listen to them. And we have special exclusive content just for you. Also, feel free to subscribe to our Patreon account. That's where you can support us financially because we need it. And it can be anywhere from $1 to $100 billion a month, whatever you can afford. And the link to our Patreon account is www.patreon, and that's spelled patreon.com/We Need Help Podcast. And you can support us on there. We would really appreciate it because we do need help.
Awesome. And we will see you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday. Thanks, loves.
Bye.
Bye.